Good morning and hello, everyone. Today we're going to be talking about how to increase your call connection with the use of a text message or what we like to refer to as a pre-call text. And FixYourFunnel has developed a really cool tool to allow you to simplify this process and implement it across all of your team members and your outbound dialing process and everything like that. So um, once we cover this and you implement this actual strategy, we've seen a lot of different customers basically double their call connection rate. Um, so if you're some of the issues you've probably already seen already is, I mean, despite the world, we're basically living in the world of smartphones, it's hard to get people on the phone. You got people ignoring you, you got people using their settings in their phones to automatically block your calls, all sorts of things like that. And essentially, that's what's happening. Is I mean, with iPhone is a specific example. They have a setting that allows you to specifically block unknown callers. And outside of that, I mean, I know I'm guilty of this. If I don't recognize a phone number, I haven't had any previous interaction with the number, I ignore it. I send it to voicemail. If I'm not expecting a call, I just ignore the call altogether. Um, the other thing that can limit you about just using phone calls only, and we're going to kind of cover a little bit more of this in depth, but when you're using calls as the only medium, so you're only calling out, you're not using text messaging in your process, you're not using emails in your process. The only thing you're doing is making outbound phone calls and just continuously leaving voicemails. The problem there is when you do that, that's the only medium that your customer is going to think they can use to actually contact you back. And then you end up getting stuck in this loop of phone tag. So, with implementing both text and emails and all sorts of stuff like that into your calling process, you're showing that customer that they have other mediums that they can communicate with you. So, if they're busy through phone, they might text you back or they might send you an email or anything like that. So you're not limiting yourself to one type of communication. And that's definitely the thing we want to avoid. Now, what I want to cover here is that pre-call text and essentially how that flow works. And it's super simple inside of Fix Your Funnel. Essentially, we use our pre-call text option. It allows you to build a call template, basically that text template that I can use when I'm working from lists, as I'm working from, just making outbound dials altogether. I can send out this text template and I can create multiple options for different lists or, however I want to use that. And I can use it for all of my different agents. And once I've created that template, they can easily text people from that list. And inside of this template, there's a few things that I want to cover with you about what you want to make sure is included. And I've done that here. So in the message, we want to include at least a couple of things. First, who is calling? So that can be the team member's name. If you have like a sales team, you can make it specific. You can create your template to sound and look like it's coming directly from that person. Or you can make it sound like it's coming from the company. You can say, this is Fix Your Funnel. Personally, I like the personal touch. So I like to use a name like, hey, this is Jaden with Fix Your Funnel. It just makes it seem more personal. The other thing you want to do is why are you calling? So you want to make sure that's included in the template as well. You're not going to surprise anyone in this day and age with caller ID and things like that. So in your text template, that's why I say show why you're calling. Be transparent in your intent for the call. They clicked on a link or they did something to elicit this engagement with you, and so they know and understand what the call is about, because you're going to increase your call connection if they understand who's about to call and why they're calling, and they're anticipating that phone call. The other thing I will add that you're going to want in this text template is you're going to want to elicit some sort of engagement in that text message. So you're going to want to ask some sort of open-ended question in your text message so that the person that's receiving it is more likely to respond. And it can be something simple, just something like, hey, this is Jaden with Fix Your Funnel. I'm going to be giving you a call shortly to make sure you have your account set up. Is now a good time? So with ending with that open-ended question, I'm eliciting some sort of response. And I'll either, if the person's busy, that's where this text message comes in handy, is if the person's busy, instead of me attempting to call and leave a voicemail and wasting that valuable time, that person can now just respond to me back through text, and we can engage and communicate back and forth through there and schedule a call at a later date. And I can just move on to the next person in my list and begin that call, while at the same time I can be communicating back and forth with that person through text. So that's where I'm saying it doesn't limit you with your communication. I'm not only trying to call someone and them trying to call me back while I'm trying to make other outbound calls. If I'm implementing this text message process while also making calls, it allows people to respond. It allows me to respond back, allows that type of interaction while I'm also trying to make these outbound calls. That's part of my daily process. The other part of this process, so once you have, so we've used the Fix Your Funnel pre-call option, we've created our template with, who's calling why, and we've got the open-ended question there. The other thing, other part of this process, which is you can take it or leave it and do it how you prefer, but this is personally what I've seen work best, is when I'm working with a list, the method that I like to use is I'll go through, let's say, the first 5 or 6 people in that list, and I'll send the pre-call text to all 5 of those, because you're going to have some delay with people actually responding and everything like that. So I want to send it to the first 5 people and then begin working through that process. That allows people to get the text message. That allows people to have some time to respond to me and me to respond back and kind of continue. And then I just continue that process. So as I go through those first 5, as I'm getting towards the end of those first 5, I'll begin that process again. I'll send another 5 text messages out to that group, and then I'll just continue the process. And the fantastic thing, like I said, we've had a lot of customers that have actually implemented just this simple outbound text before a call, and they've doubled, if not more, their call connection rate. So they have more conversations, their sales team is on the phone with more people and everything, and it's fantastic. So again, to cover what it's going to allow you to do when you implement it, one, you're going to introduce yourself and your intent before calling. So that overall is going to increase your call connection. It's also going to open those lines of communication. We already talked about that. So if I'm only calling, that person's only going to try and call me back. But if I'm using different mediums, I'm using text, I'm using calls, it opens the door for that open communication, different lines of communication. So there's different ways people can communicate without just trying to play phone tag. And again, it's increasing your overall call connection rate with your customers that might have ignored your call prior to that, or their phone might have ignored the phone call, like with iPhone, automatically blocking unknown callers. If there's some sort of interaction prior to that, like through text or anything like that, you're going to overcome that obstacle. So that's going to allow you to just overcome those challenges that we talked about at the beginning here. Okay, so let's review. So creating this text template is going to basically allow you to introduce yourself and who you're calling, and it's going to increase your call connection rate. So sending it to the first 5 people allows you to do a little bit more broad, almost like a broadcast. To the first 5 people, that allows you to begin working through. It's going to increase the amount of conversations that your team members or you are having. And it's a super simple process, especially with Fix Your Funnel. So instead of taking this process somewhere else and just trying to type the text each time to someone, we have a template system. It allows you to create that template. It allows you to just simply click a button and send out that template to each customer that you want, and allows you to kind of get working a lot faster. So if you want to learn more about this particular feature, or you want us to show you how it works, feel free to go to fixyourfunnel.com. You can reach out to our support team through the chat option there, or you can give us a text or call at 760-621-8199, and we'd be happy to walk you through it. Thanks.